Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Social Slam Podcast. I am Cobra, your host for tonight, and I am joined by friends Alex, Greg, Daniel, and Ben in the ring. It is so glad to be back. Say hello, everyone.
What's going on out there, guys?
What's up?
Welcome.
Alex.
You're not going to say hi?
Hi.
All right, there we go. Guys, it's been a long time coming. The Social Sports Pad Network has been trying to get back into ring for so long. It's been a while since we're back into wrestling, and here we are. It is so good to be back. Ben, of course, has experience with that in the past. I'm just glad we're able to get this back together. Not gonna lie. But of course, we had a very interesting Sunday night. Saturday night, excuse me. Sorry, I'm so used to pay-per-views and PLEs happening on Sunday, but on Saturday, we had the Royal Rumble. And Greg, I know you were Twitch streaming it live. You have a little bit more experience of it than I do. So I'm going to start with you. What was your opinion on the Rumble?
Well, I'll give the whole show overall a 9.5 out of 10. Obviously there weren't as many surprises or returns as people thought there was going to be. Obviously, we had Alexa Bliss, and that was a very big surprise. You had Nikki Bella coming in at number 30. You had Trish Stratus. But everybody kind of saw the winner, Charlotte Flair, coming in the Women's Royal Rumble match. We all kind of knew that was a given. The tag team match, 2 out of 3 falls, went kind of the way that I had expected it to, with Motor City Machine Guns and DIY going at it, getting 1 fall apiece. I was not expecting the Street Profits to interfere and kind of put the whole tag team division on notice. The Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes ladder match went just about as good as you could plan for it to go. When Sami Zayn came out, I was fully expecting a Sami Zayn heel turn for him to attack Cody Rhodes to, I guess, quote unquote, have Kevin Owens' back. But that didn't happen, so that may be setting up something else down the road, maybe a feud between Owens and Zayn. And the Men's Royal Rumble, I had it pegged that John Cena was going to win, and WWE decided to swerve us and have Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble. And I see a lot of complaints online. The same people that wanted WWE to put some of these guys over, and it happened, and now they're complaining about it.
Yep. I was gonna say, I know you said you saw John Cena win the Rumble. I didn't. I thought that John Cena was going to be Final 4, but he was just going to come up short. I don't think any of us had Jey Uso on our bingo card as Royal Rumble winner. That I will agree with. Alex, I want your opinion. What was your take on the Rumble?
I really enjoyed the Royal Rumble. I would give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. I felt like all the matches delivered. My big issue was I saw a lot of complaints with the tag team match, with the crowd being as dead as it was. And I'm surprised. That match was really good. I think the Profits getting involved really puts himself in a threat to go after DIY for the tag team titles and put this tag team division, who's been a little shaky recently with some, off-screen events happening, on the big screen and try to push it as well as it is. The women's Rumble match delivered great spots, great entrance, and intense moments here and there. And like all of you guys have said, Jey Uso winning was not on my bingo card at all for WWE, but this spot with John Cena was as good as I wanted it to be. And I was really hoping John Cena was going to pull out the win, but I'm hoping Jey dethrones Gunther at Mania for the world title. And the Cody and Kevin Owens match delivered 10 out of 10 stars. I don't know what the boys are trying to do, but can we just say he tried to murder both of them with all these ladder spots, especially at the end with KO? That was insanity.
Yeah. That ladder spot with Kevin Owens, definitely one of the most brutal ladder spots since TLC 2. Since that ladder match at WrestleMania 17. All I got to say on that. Daniel, I want your opinion on the Rumble.
My opinion on the Rumble is I give it about an 8 out of 10. And starting off with the women's, I think it was overall a really good match. Had a few surprises. Definitely number 30 was a surprise. But also, I think Alexa Bliss was the biggest surprise. And I also loved how, I don't know if you guys remember when she turned around and took off her jacket, the Fiend Forever. I thought that was really cool. And on to the next match, I kind of missed that match for
Shame!
family reasons. But I did hear the results. On to the next one, which was Cody Rhodes'.
Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, yes.
Cody Rhodes' match, that one, besides the men's Royal Rumble, I think the Cody Rhodes' match was the best match of the night, in my opinion. It was a brutal, brutal match. And towards the end, where Kevin Owens got busted open, I was getting Homelander vibes off of Cody Rhodes. But overall, that match was awesome. And then the men's Royal Rumble, that was a really awesome match as well. A few surprises like AJ Styles. That one was good. Joe Hendry, kind of saw that one coming, but that was good too.
Had to do that. Sorry about it.
And I know there's a lot of complaints about Jey Uso winning the Rumble, but in my opinion, he's a workhorse and he deserves it.
Well,
overall, awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dan, I am saying that Jey Uso was, it's not that he doesn't deserve it. That's not my big complaint. My big complaint to Uso is this was out of left field, which is a pleasant surprise for the Royal Rumble, which is what it should be. I mean, the first Royal Rumble was Hacksaw Jim Duggan winning it. So, it's great to see a little bit of the roots of the Rumble returning. That's where I'm disagreeing with it on there, but it's good to see. Ben,
Can I say something really quick?
Yes, you can.
I just two things. As far as sells and spots, and we just talk about how Kevin Owens sold that Alabama Slam through the ladder, and then in the men's Royal Rumble match, I Show Speed just absolutely eating that spear from Braun Breaker. He sold it like the rent was due and his life was on the line.
Someone owed Braun Breaker money. That's it. That was a spear. I've seen spears. I've seen gores. This was I don't know what you would call that. This was one of those. No, this was one of those spears you go on the hub to see. That's what I mean.
And then he got it even worse afterwards. He got tossed through the table by Otis.
All right. Ben, now it's your turn. What's your opinion on the Rumbles? On the Rumble, sorry.
I enjoyed it. I will give it about an 8.3 out of 10. Kind of disappointed that Gunther doesn't really defend his championship much. I would have kind of wished he would have at least defended it during the show. That's my only gripe about the show, really. The Women's Rumble, I loved it. I enjoyed it. To be honest, I think Nikki Bella's spot at number 30 was a waste. Yeah, it's Nikki Bella. She didn't contribute much to anything. I kind of wish it went to somebody else, to be honest. But I enjoyed it. I'm tired of seeing Charlotte Flair getting handed everything. That's another gripe I have. We need somebody else to actually win other than Charlotte Flair every freaking time. The Men's Royal Rumble, I enjoyed it. That was very fun. There were a lot of botches, though. I will say there were a lot of botches. Penta touched the ground with both feet. Wade Barrett made a comment about it was only 1 foot. Then Pat McAfee made another comment and followed up. I was like, I don't know. I think he touched the ground. So that was early on in the match, like 2 minutes beginning in the match. What was it? The tag team match. The crowd isn't into DIY for some reason. I don't know why. They used to be a crowd favorite. They're not a crowd favorite anymore. I think it's because they kind of buried them with comedy. It was a good match overall. We just need more teams. I'm tired of seeing the same teams fight each other. It was cool to see the Street Profits finally pop back up. Maybe they're finally going to get some recognition. Overall, it was a good match. The ladder match with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, that was crazy. I definitely give that a 10 out of 10. And I don't know how Kevin Owens' back keeps holding up. And special shout out to iShowSpeed for getting broken in half.
Well, and now it's my opinion on the Rumble. Well, for me, my opinion on the Rumble, I definitely think it was one of the better ones. I'm giving it an 8.6 on the high end. The main thing that brought it down was the Women's Rumble. Like Ben said, I disagree wholeheartedly with Nikki Bella being anywhere near the Rumble, especially in the number 30 spot. Because we both know that all of us know that the Bella Twins do not have any wrestling ability at all. They're just eye candy, and they're not even good eye candy. It was great to see Trish Stratus still in there. There was no AJ Lee. Yeah, there was no Legends of the Past.
No Lita.
No Lita. No Lita. No Lunger Blaze. No Molly Holly. No Ivory. No Victoria. I get it. But it's kind of nice to see that the Women's Royal Rumble can fill with its own natural talent. It's great to see that. And of course, the match of the night was Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. As I stated before, that ladder spot that Kevin Owens had was one of the most brutal since TLC 2. With Jeff Hardy, getting speared, by Edge, And speaking of spears, that Braun. Yes, yeah. That say what you will. That's a brutal spot.
There was also another one that was pretty brutal and involved another Hardy and Edge.
Yeah, let's not go there.
That one was rough.
Like I said, speaking of spears, Braun Breaker putting iShowSpeed out of his shoes. Like I said, you normally pay a membership on the hub to see spearing like that. That's the best way I can describe it. Heyo. But I think the one thing that we're kind of forgetting here is there's only like two legit surprises in the men's rumble as well.
Yes.
We had AJ Styles. We had say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I do agree with that, though.
Yep.
They could have put Moose in there.
Yeah. Or Josh Alexander. But, we have Joe Hendry.
He's a free agent.
Yeah. Yeah. I want, Josh Alexander would definitely be that spot against Braun Breaker. Like Josh Alexander and Braun Breaker. Big, meaty men smacking meat. Had to reference that. And of course,
he would be a great addition to American Made.
Or just be a great fight against Braun Breaker or Gunther. Anyhow, but back to it. Like I said, Jey Uso winning the match. I don't think anyone had that pegged in their bingo card. But what I did have pegged in my bingo card is John Cena coming up just short. And the reason why I say that was in the bingo card was I go back to 1996. 1996 King of the Ring. There was another legend of wrestling who had a similar story.
What?
Hard-nosed Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts, he was going through the King of the Ring. He said he was going to make it to King of the Ring. And he just came up short, losing to Austin in the final.
What?
Damn it, Ben.
What?
Anyhow, but that was my opinion on the Rumble. Like, it was great. It was a great Rumble. Like I said, wrestling has returned, especially with the Royal Rumble.
Yes, it has.
You, Cobra?
Yeah, you see me?
Can I do what you said?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the Rumble. Like I said, there were some things that I wish that some people would have showed up, like AJ Lee. Where the hell is Becky Lynch? Is she coming back? What's going on? There's quite a few people.
I would have liked to have seen more legends in the Rumble, but at the same legends or some free agents that we know, like I said, Josh Alexander. But at the same time, it's nice to see WWE push their main talent. It's nice to see.
Mick James was there, but she wasn't in Rumble.
Even about 7-8 years ago, you wouldn't have had enough women's WWE talent to fill that entire 30 women's roster.
They would have had to call a famous drunk driver, Sonny, to fill in a Rumble.
I want to see Roman and Braun Breaker 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Well,
each other really good.
I think they're planting seeds.
I see a triple threat.
I think there's a lot of seeds planted in the future for WWE. Unfortunately, we do have to talk about some of the fallout of the Rumble as well. Because it is reported that the Scottish Warrior, aka Drew McIntyre, walked out after his elimination from Royal Rumble. That there was a backstage brawl as well. So, once again, the order is Greg. Can you tell us more about this?
I saw a few reports. Apparently, according to an insider who reported this, Drew McIntyre was very, very upset with his elimination and how it went. It was supposed to be planned that way, where Priest was supposed to eliminate McIntyre. But apparently a couple of other guys got in the way, namely LA Knight and Logan Paul. And it kind of botched the elimination. No one specific person was named, but someone apparently Drew McIntyre wasn't the only one that was upset. There was a handful of talent backstage after the match that were visibly upset, saying that there was one guy out there who was trying to get all his moves in and was making it about himself and not the match. And if I had to guess, and going back to what Ben said about wasted spots, number 30 Logan Paul was a wasted spot.
You really think so?
If I had to guess, I think the person that they're talking about is Logan Paul.
It's goes in the prime, bro.
I don't know. I don't know if it's Logan Paul or if it's somebody else, but I know the ending was not supposed to end the way it was. Punk got eliminated wrongfully. I don't think he was supposed to be eliminated at that spot. I think AJ Styles also wasn't supposed to be eliminated. Also, am I seeing the wrong person? Maybe I'm. But when Braun Strowman got eliminated, right after he got eliminated, he went to catch somebody that was about to get eliminated, and he missed the catch and got pissed off. Was that Finn Balor?
Yes, it was Finn Balor.
So my question is why the fuck was he trying to catch Finn Balor and save him from touching the ground, and why was he pissed off about it? They're not friends. They're not allies.
It was probably a planned spot.
I was about to say, it was probably a rehearsed spot, and Braun Strowman missed his cue.
Yes, but why get so visibly? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's the heat of the moment, but I don't know.
Well, I mean,
it made it seem a little odd.
Well, I mean, now that you mention it, with it being Finn Balor, I mean, if Strowman was that upset, maybe it was, like Cobra said, a planned spot, and maybe something for the fans to look at is maybe them planting the seeds for Strowman to join Judgment Day or something, and then that didn't come to fruition. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking too.
Alex, you've been kind of radio silent on this. You want to add your 2 cents on this?
I feel like Drew has done this before. I feel like he did this last year when he lost to Roman. He stormed out, cussed at people, was enraged, ready to quit, threatened to leave, and Pierce was like, "Oh no, don't do that." He attacked Pierce, got suspended. He's just a person who throws fits when something doesn't go his way. Granted, he's a former WWE champion. He won in 2020, beat Brock Lesnar. He's trying to get back to the main stage of wrestling, but there's too many people in his way, and he has lost his mind. I think Adam Pearce was right last year, saying that he's gone off the handle with his attitude and his persona towards other people. That I feel like this is going to be like a AEW CM Punk thing again, where he's going to attack someone backstage, get suspended, get thrown out, and then come back at a random event and then be all good and dandy again, like Punk did at Survivor Series last year. I just think Drew needs to get his crap together. Either they need to suspend Drew for a year or counsel him or do something, because he's going to cost his career in a way that he's not going to be able to get the WWE Championship back again, because he's going to piss off Triple H too much. He's going to write him off TV.
After you mentioned that too, another person that went off the rails a little bit, Seth freaking Rollins. He kind of lost it a little bit.
A double curb stomp of Roman was
curb stomp Roman Reigns into the floor. Then he came back around and curb stomped into the steel steps
and tried to beat CM Punk to death.
Yeah, that super stomp on Roman was insane. That
was brutal.
It happened so fast. It literally looked like he put like all of his weight and effort behind it.
It actually legitimately looked like he got his face implanted into the floor.
Yep, and then and I don't know if you guys caught some of the conversation between Roman and Punk before Roman got super stomped. It was something along the lines of, look what you did. We just teamed up a couple months ago. And then after everything that happened, Punk walked over to Paul Heyman
It just gave him
Yeah, I
a
saw
look.
and
that.
gave him a look and whispered something to him. So I'm wondering if that favor that he owes Heyman is coming.
Then Seth flicked off Paul Heyman trying to attack him. It just fell apart so fast, and there should have been more refs out there or personnel to break them up, because Seth was going to kill Paul Heyman and probably Roman and Punk in the process of doing any of that.
Well,
Right.
famous woman respecter Brock Lesnar probably would have helped.
Oh, let's not talk about famous women respecter Brock Lesnar. Let's not talk about him.
You know who else didn't show up and get his ass beat? Hulk Hogan.
Don't talk about that famous racist.
He
Famous
didn't
black
get up
people
either.
respecter Hulk Hogan. You know,
He didn't get beat up, though.
a person who realized that 40 years of his career went down to because he decided to put his hat into a ring that he shouldn't have. Randy Savage was right about him. That's all I gotta say. Anywho, but speaking
That rap
of
album was fire.
yes, it was. But speaking of legends, and I know we're talking about legends, we got to talk about one of the most important legends.
Triple H.
No, uncultured
Falco?
swine. Uncultured
He's
swine.
a Hall of Famer, though.
I'm talking about. I am talking about Hall of Famer. I'm talking about the one, the only, the icon Sting. This is his last year. This is his last year putting on the paint. The man they call Sting. That's my best Shivani. But yeah, those of you who don't know, Sting is my favorite wrestler, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And
You know, he would have made a
man, let
really
me
good
talk.
pairing. Well,
Let
hold
me
on.
talk.
He would have made a good pairing with Raven.
But anyway, as I said, Sting is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I already talked about my Mount Rushmore on TikTok and YouTube. So that's
Just
already out there.
Share.
I swear, Ben. Let me talk. Anyway, so as Sting is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and the fact that he is hanging up the trench coat, the bat, and the paint is kind of sad to me. But at the same time, he's 65. Greg, you started this off. I want to know your opinion on the icon hanging it up for good.
Well, so I didn't really follow Sting a whole lot when he was in WCW back in the 90s, or when he was in TNA in the later years. I really found out about him. I mean, I had heard about him. I knew who he was. My mom told me stories about him because she grew up watching him. She said she met him a couple times when she was younger. But I had heard the rumors that he was coming to WWE a while back, and then he showed up at the Survivor Series. What year was that? 2015? 2016?
It was one of those years, yes.
When Team Authority was going against Team Cena.
I think it was 2015.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah, it was
for business.
2015.
2015. Okay, thank you. And I knew that he was going to be going after Triple H, and I was like, it's got to happen at Mania. And I watched the Mania.
Even though it should have been Taker, not gonna lie.
Yes.
Should have been bigger.
But I watched the Mania match. I knew I popped when DX got involved. I popped when the NWO got involved. And then he, went away for a little while, come back and had that feud with Seth Rollins, and then that's when he got hurt in his championship match against Rollins, taking 2 buckle bombs and basically breaking his neck. And after that, I said,
correct that. Let me correct that. It wasn't his neck. It was actually spinal stenosis. What happened? It was back.
Okay.
It's his back,
Shouldn't
not
have
his
been
neck.
doing the both of
WWE
them in the first place.
WWE medical staff was too afraid to have him wrestle anymore, so he went to AEW.
Right. So like,
Made
you know,
sense.
he quote unquote retired from WWE after that, and I thought, well, you know, he's pushing 60 now. He's got to be done. And then I see the news pop up one day that he signed with AEW, and then I watch one of his matches and he's jumping off a freaking cage or the table or whatnot, and I'm like, dude's insane.
Yeah, at that age, man, it's kind of crazy.
It's like Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley, legends
know when
never
to
die. But yeah, when I saw the news that he was hanging it up for good, I was like, you know, good for him. You know, he's going to go out on his own terms. He's, you know, hopefully going to go out with a blaze of glory on top, and he's going to just enjoy the rest of his life as a fan of wrestling, and not be like paralyzed or have some sort of everlasting injury, which I mean, he may have and nobody knows about it. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. I mean, considering that his one of his other sons, I think it was Steven. It was Steven who's actually getting involved in wrestling now. He's actually getting trained.
Yeah.
So that's good to kind of see that he got the wrestling bug. Dan, is there anything you
A
want to
little
add?
old, but hey.
About what?
You want to add anything about
Sting? About Sting.
Well, I mean, my brother kind of covered it all. It was kind of the same way with me. Like, you know, I didn't really. I actually had never really heard of him until he returned to the WWE. You know, because I didn't start watching wrestling because you know I'm only 28. And so like I started getting into wrestling back when I was back when I was like 2005 was when I started getting into wrestling. So Sting wasn't around then.
No, we started watching wrestling back in like
I don't remember
2000,
though.
2001 during the Attitude Era.
I was only a couple
Sting
years
was
old
around.
though.
Sting was around, but he was in TNA.
But
yeah.
But either way, like when he returned, I thought it was really awesome and everything. He reminded me a lot of the Undertaker, like a more edgier, crazier side of the Undertaker. And to see him see him retire, I think it's a good thing. It's better to just know when to stop.
Yes. Unlike and Terry Funk. Alex, anything you want to add?
I'm in the same boat as Greg and Daniel below me. I grew up watching Sting in the late 2010s when he was with the Authority, Springer Rollins, be all the part of that because I was born at the end of the Attitude Era in 01, so I didn't watch wrestling until 2006, 2007. So kind of fuzzy with Sting, but I did enjoy watching him. I felt like he had a very Undertaker-like persona, but wasn't as dark as the Undertaker. He kind of had a soft side to him, but the face paint really set him apart from the Kings, the Undertakers, the big guys that wore face paint, the Randy Savages and the Ultimate Warriors and stuff like that. And I felt like his shift to AEW with Darby Allin was a fantastic pair with him. I felt like the craziness of Darby Allin and the craziness of Sting really coincided with each other and linked them up good in AEW. And I'm sad to see Sting go, but when they retire and stuff, but he needs to stop doing this because we've seen it with Ric Flair and Edge. They're aging, they're getting too old, they're hurting themselves. Ric Flair has had too many retirement matches, quote unquote. And with Edge, shattering his leg is not a block in AEW in a cage match. These guys are getting in the 40s, 60s, and 70s, and they're going to end up killing themselves wrestling because they're going to,
Ric Flair,
look at hurting it.
Ric Flair wants to do another match.
Yeah.
He says he wants to.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, Ben, like this, by the way, this will be kind of, we're getting ready to wrap it up pretty soon. But Ben, I think both of us are older, of the older persuasion, so we were around.
I actually, when I was growing up as a kid in the 90s, I was not allowed to watch wrestling. I'm 42. I snuck on Saturday mornings, I was sneak this really. I don't know if you guys remember. You guys are probably too young. Cobra remembers. There was these old portable TVs, black and white,
Yep.
about yay long, yay wide and tall, and
with a portable antenna built into it.
Yep. And I would watch Saturday morning wrestling every Saturday in the garage while my parents were working on the house and stuff. But no, I did know who Sting was, even though I didn't watch wrestling like that. I had a video game on the PC in the late '90s, so I did know who Sting was. I did start watching him on TNA though. And you guys, the two, Greg and Daniel and Alex, you guys never mentioned Surfer Sting. Surfer Sting, I don't know if you guys remember him. You guys remember him?
I do.
I've seen
I
videos.
do, and I'll get to my story for my time.
So
I'll tell you my
No one
story.
kill me, but I've never heard of that
No,
Surfer
so-
Sting.
Uncultured.
at one point, you could confuse Surfer Sting with Ultimate Warrior, basically. They basically almost had the same kind of face paint almost. It was kind
I'll
of
pull
weird.
up a picture for Daniel.
Pull up a
I
comparison.
know that was Surfer Sting.
But
What's
no,
his name?
Sting in TNA, that was legit, like, that was prime Sting, in my opinion. And I've seen highlights of his matches and stuff in WCW, but in TNA,
Oh,
I
yeah.
honestly think that was
Okay,
probably
I
his
have
best,
seen a picture. I just
best
didn't know the
work.
name.
Yep, that is Surfer Sting.
I have seen photos of that.
But-
I just never heard of the name.
When he came in
Yep.
WWE, I was happy he was there. Disappointed that his WrestleMania match wasn't against Taker. Extra disappointed that the Seth Rollins hurt him, and then this WWE staff was like, "No, well, he's done. He can't wrestle anymore." Well, then he goes to AEW. Okay, cool. That's cool. Only issue I had with the AEW run was the stunts and high risks he was taking.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been put in those positions to do those high stake moves.
Especially at his advanced age. We were like, oh crap.
Exactly. It made me cringe, man, when he jumped off that steel pole from the arena stairs
And
onto that
Yep.
table.
so,
Man,
all right. Yeah.
go ahead.
Are you ready for my story? So,
Yes.
yeah, I grew up with Surfer Sting. If you, I know none of you remember WCW action figures, but I
I've
was
seen
born in
Oh, yeah.
I was born in '89, so I remember like '92 receiving an action figure set that
Those were
had
classic.
like that. Yeah, that I don't even have them anymore, but it had Sting and Lex Luger in it as a tag team. We also had Steiner Brothers, and Ricky remembers, my older brother. He remembers Randy Savage. We had a Randy Savage one too. Like,
Love Randy.
he's on my Mount Rushmore too. But yeah, I remember Surfer Sting. I remember the Bash at the Beach '96 match with him, Savage, and Luger against the Outsiders and the mysterious third man, who turned out to be the famous Union Buster, Hulk Hogan. That piece of shit. So there was that. Then of course he becomes the Crow, has that disaster of a Starcade match, where we learned the 6 words of doom that don't work for me, brother. Then WCW closes its doors, and then he's in TNA, which I was happy for because, hey, I missed WCW. I missed a second company giving WWE a little bit of a run for its money, if that makes sense.
That Sting TNA run was the best ever.
Yeah, it felt like it's what his WCW run should have been.
Should have been. Yep.
Then,
And he had
then of
some
course,
great feuds with Angle.
then he has that cup of coffee in WWE, and I'm going to call it a cup of coffee because it was short. Definitely coming off the tail end, the WWE, kind of patching up wounds, if that makes sense. They patched up with the Ultimate Warrior, then he eventually passed. Then, of course, next year, it's announced that Sting is exclusive in 2K15. Then it's like Survivor Series. I'm like, it's apropos, that match. I'm like, Sting's coming. Sting's coming. And, that, and like I said, WrestleMania should have fought Taker. Instead gets Triple H. Then Seth Rollins, with that botched buckle bomb. Sting admits it was his botch. I hate it too. It shouldn't have happened. It should have been a better. Yeah, it should be. I actually raged on Seth Rollins' Twitter that he cost us Sting Taker.
Oh, he did.
He did. And then, the next year, Hall of Fame, he retires, because WWE don't know what the hell they're doing. Then he goes to AEW. And and tag teams with Darby Allin, which I thought was the best move for AEW, is to partner him with Darby Allin. Because clearly, it's Sting's advanced age, and it gives him a different a mentorship in a way. I did not care for Sting doing those high risk bumps, because as a person with a back issue, especially the type of back issue that Sting had, it made me cringe. Because it's like, don't do that, man. No.
Yeah, it made me cringe so hard.
Yeah. But yeah. But I'm sad that Sting is putting a bow on it. Putting a bow. He's putting a bow on it the right way. It's like, yeah, he'll do the conventions. He'll do the conventions. But it's like, hey, last year he'll lug out the bat. He'll lug out the leather coat. He'll lug out the paint for the last time because, as we said, he's 65. And the only thing about Sting is nothing's for sure. And that's it.
His match with Jeff has been on my For You page recently when Chris Van Vliet interviews Jeff Hardy about fighting Sting, being, intoxicated as he was and not knowing what was happening and knowing that he got pinned so fast that it happened like that.
The worst about that match. The worst part about that match was Jeff Hardy was the biggest Sting fan. And to do that to your hero, to have that match with your hero.
Jeff Hardy's come out recently.
Wasn't he like drunk for that match? Yeah. Okay.
No, he was on. He took these sleeping pills, and it made him.
Almost would probably
made him
zombie.
The zombie, yeah, basically, yeah. He didn't realize what they would do to him.
Which to be fair, don't do drugs, kids. Legit. One in the words of Stephen He, don't do drugs. Too expensive.
I don't know if you've seen it recently. He's come out recently saying that he's definitely regretted his past mistakes, and he said he could have been the next John Cena. And I mean, he's right. He could have been the next John Cena. He was probably the more popular Hardy.
He had one hell of a match on Raw against the big evil version of The Undertaker.
I'll never forget sitting in my apartment in Rehoboth watching The Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy on SmackDown for the belt. And Jeff Hardy just came inches away from winning that belt. That was the
in Rehoboth. Ooh.
Yeah.
He deserves so much more, but his issues outside of the company ruined everything for him. He was bound to be WWE champion. He was pushing with his brother as the tag team champions, and it all came crashing down because of a couple of arrests, and he wasn't getting to what he wanted.
That's
crazy.
That happens, also, unfortunately, to a lot of wrestlers. It happens to a lot of wrestlers. The craziest thing, though,
is Sting probably had some of his best matches against Perk Angle.
Yeah.
Before we
anywho, we'll wrap up. Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, before we wrap up, can I just throw one more thing out there to make sure we don't miss it?
Yes.
Do it.
All right. So we are officially on the road to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, which means we are going to start getting announcements for the Hall of Fame. And the first Hall of Fame inductee was announced the other day. The headliner will be none other than the cerebral assassin, the Game, Triple H. Will be going
It's
in
all
as a
about the
single
game
star.
and how you play it.
And
It's
how
all
you play
about
it.
Michaels and The
control,
Undertaker.
if you will take it. Sorry, had to.
It's the road to WrestleMania, brother.
Are you ready?
Road to WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
Anywho, since this is the end of the Royal Rumble, we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. So we're going to be pretty quick about this next and final segment of the night before we start closing things down.
Ding ding ding.
This is the final bell. All right. So Greg, basically Greg, Dan, Alex, Ben, and myself, basically, who would you like to see as a Hall of Famer in WWE? Starting with you, Greg.
Probably the one that deserves it the most right now, Bray Wyatt.
All right. I like that. Greg, or Dan, sorry.
Tell him to come back to me.
Circle back around to Daniel.
All right, Alex.
I think when it's all said and done, the accomplishments that she has had, Becky Lynch has to be one. She has the resume to be in the Hall of Fame, no matter if she's coming back to WWE or not. She has the resume for it.
I like that. Ben.
I'm looking at the list of notable wrestlers not in the Hall of Fame.
I won't be surprised, but
Surprisingly, Chyna's not in the Hall of Fame. She's in there as a DX member. I would like to see Chyna or Brian Pillman be introduced. Maybe even William Regal or Owen Hart, because they're not even in there either. Surprisingly,
I hate to say it, Owen Hart and Chyna will probably never see the never be in the Hall of Fame,
You know,
especially WWE's Hall of Fame.
she's in DX. I mean, you never know. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with William Regal.
All right. Are you ready, or do you want me to give you a little more time?
the person that I think that should be in the Hall of Fame, if I don't believe he is in the Hall of Fame, but Kane.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Yes, he is.
I think it was like
Okay, the other-
2013.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was.
Sure?
Probably, well, it might have been.
Kane's in the Hall of Fame. Undertaker's in the Hall of Fame. I think the Brothers
Yeah.
of Destruction themselves are in the Hall of Fame as a tag
who
team.
else is
So
I'd
Paul
say
Bearer's
Randy
in the
Orton,
Hall of
man.
Fame.
There's
Randy-
one
okay,
big name.
I'll take that.
There's
that.
one big name that's not in the Hall of Fame. And if you smell
know
it,
that.
cooking.
I think that's
If
a
he
little too obvious.
retires.
A little too if he retires. But in my opinion, probably one that
early.
deserves a lot of credit. That would be Sid.
I was looking at that, but doesn't he have like a past? And that's the reason
No,
why he's not getting
no.
considered. I thought he had some kind of past.
I don't know about that. I mean, but it's like he could, his contributions to wrestling. It's not like he doesn't deserve it. I mean, he's been two main events at WrestleMania, a world champion, with both WWE and WCW. I mean, it wouldn't be a big name, he deserves it. Vader deserves it.
Oh yeah, Vader definitely deserves it. King Paul Bundy's not in there either.
Bam Bigelow. I mean,
I don't see Jim Cornette ever making it because he's a douchebag.
Well, thank you. Fuck you. Bye.
I wish Chris Benoit would,
Who's
but
2021?
unfortunately, we know why he
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah,
make it.
2016.
Yeah, no.
Names is
Chris
not to be spoken.
will only be in
Surprisingly,
Chris.
Demolition.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Demolition's
Yeah.
not in.
Yep.
Ivan
Only reason why
Koloff.
they're not, Ivan
Speak-
Koloff, not Ivan. Ivan.
Speaking of him, I just got to throw this out there. When Daniel and I were at our wrestling trivia event the other night, one of the team names was super dark. The team name was Hanging with Chris Benoit.
Ouch.
jeez.
Ouch.
Yeah, that
ouch.
was like really messed up.
Yeah, damn. Damn. All right.
Damn,
so let's
Daniel.
wrap. Damn, exactly. So let's wrap this up. So, the Social Slam podcast would definitely like to thank our listeners. But we would like to remind you that our podcast was brought to you by the fine folks at Sleeves. Sleeves.com is, of course, our go-to place for fine compression wear drip. They have arm sleeves, compression tights, headbands, ski masks, and all other apparel. And Valentine's Day is coming, so do check out their dirty boxer lineup to make the bedroom just a little bit spicy. But by the way, don't just take my word for it. Use our affiliate link in the bio wherever you get your podcasts. Show the channel some love. And that's it. That's our podcast. We got to thank our affiliates, of course. We have Fanatics, we have Bulletproof Coffee, Dr. Squatch, Duke Cannon Supply Company, TV, Raw Nutrition, W Energy, Century PC, Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, and of course the aforementioned Sleeves. All those affiliate links are in our bio wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube, so if you're to us on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. We're on TikTok as well. Look out for our shorts for as long as that's alive. Frickin' Supreme Court. And of course, we have our other podcasts too. We have The Lap Down, which is going on season 2. We have Biscuits and Penalties, our hockey podcast. The Hard Count, our football podcast, wrapping up its 3rd season next week. And coming up on season 2 after the Super Bowl is Dirt and Turf podcast, our baseball podcast. So please check those out on wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. And, well, that is it for the Social Slam podcast. I'm Cobra. And on behalf of Greg, Dan, Alex, and Ben, we're ringing the bell. Ding, ding, ding. See y'all next time.
And remember, it's the road to WrestleMania, baby.
WrestleMania, baby. Woo!
Yeah.